Simcha Leiner with us via studio. You hear Simcha?
Hey.
Were you just in LA? The LA show was already or not?
The LA show didn't take place yet.
LA show did not take place.
February 19th?
Is that what it is? Let me check the website. By the way, you guys, we've mentioned here many times the LA show, which is an amazing show.
And 90% sold out. Yeah, February 19th. President's Day.
There we go. Many voices, one song, Biachad Nashir, a Jewish music festival celebrating 50 years of Gindi Maimonides. Shlomi Shabbat, Baruch Levine, Avram Fried, Yitzhak Meir Helfgott, and Simcha Leiner, plus a 60-piece symphony orchestra.
Right, just to point out, each one of us alone typically do a solo show.
That's correct,
so
yeah.
This is the ultimate. When you have 5 solo artists, join together and do a show that'll probably be, 5 hours long, no?
I don't know. I'd have to speak to the producer of the show. Now, you were just in LA for the Rechnitz wedding and a gig here and there, from what I understood. Did you check out this theater where the show's at, or not?
I didn't check out the theater. Yochi was actually there. Yochi Brisman, the producer of the show, was there 2 weeks earlier.
Right.
He checked it out, but I actually noticed all over downtown Beverly Hills in the Pico area.
Oh, you posted this. There were signs.
Billboards.
Oh, wow. I didn't see the billboard. I saw you posted the sign on the street.
Billboard. There's a whole bunch of billboards. There's smaller billboards, bigger billboards. It's like a tongue twister. And then on every single light pole in the entire area, these signs.
So they're really going all out over here.
They are definitely. Well, look, it's almost sold out. Maybe if you guys keep pushing, we'll add a second show. Maybe we'll do one in New York.
So we can add New York. How many seats does the theater fit? Do you know?
It's a couple thousand. Yeah, it's a big place.
So Simcha, talk to us about Merakeid.
That's a pretty general question.
It is a very general question, but it's been a while since we had you here in the studio. It's definitely been a while since you've had an album. The funny thing is that people don't realize that when the Project Relax 1 and 2 and 3, they keep coming out, and Simcha is being featured on other songs and on the Rechnitz album. So even though you haven't done your own solo album, this is only your third solo album, but between the Odessa and the Project Relaxes, you've actually done 3 or 4 other albums in between.
Right. Basically, we try to put out a solo album once every 2 years. Rather, I should say, we try not to let it get past 2 years without putting out a solo album. And what happens in between those 2 albums, I can tell you what we're doing next in between Merakeid and the next solo album.
What's that?
I don't know. Exactly. We don't know. So the point is that once you put out your solo album, what happens after that is really not to be planned until something comes up. So we had the Leiner Live in Odessa concert that came up. We grabbed the opportunity to release it to the public because we figured something like that, we'd have to share with the world, and people really welcomed it, Baruch Hashem. Project Relax 2, that was like a no-brainer,
Right.
And then all these things sometimes delay a little bit in the production of your solo album. So with that being said, 2 years, we couldn't let it go by anymore.
So you decided to release it.
It was time. We got to sit down, focus 100% on releasing a solo album.
Now, it's funny because last time you were here, I remember we discussed this right after your album, that you were already, even though you were going to take a break from working on an album, you were already looking at songs for the next album.
True.
So even though it might be 2 years, the process is an ongoing process.
I remember Yochi sent me the master, right? There's the master is that album right before it goes to print. You get the album from the mastering engineer, and basically the email before, the email after was a demo for the next album.
From Yochi or from
from someone else. And for a second I was like, saying I'll listen to the master later. Let me just listen to this demo for a second, And then I realized that, not a good idea.
Oh, as long as you said, and then I realized we have to throw this new song on and hold off the whole album. So I got to join you at Lincoln Center a few weeks ago, where we were lucky enough not only to have you perform the title track of your new album, but your composer sitting front and center. I believe it's the first time he went.
Intimidating.
I think it's the first time he went. His wife's there. She's probably videoing the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be cool.
So by Hask, it's very important not to overdo it on the new material.
Right.
That's why we had a very nice slot by Hask in terms of how much time. So to try to figure out how much of a...
you actually had 2 medleys and
a new
Merakeid,
song.
Right.
Basically, they give you a certain time slot and they say, here, fill it up with however you'd like. Basically,
here's 12 minutes.
Right.
Bye.
Right. So we decided to do like a best of, style first 2/3 of the time slot, and then introduce something new to the crowd. Thankfully, people knew it.
Right.
I was really counting on that. Right.
I believe you were. I mean, it was only
screaming from the balcony.
It was only 2 or 3 weeks,
6 rows up.
Only 2 or 3 weeks since the album came out.
That's always the dilemma. It's brand new, so you have the diehards, the people that listen to it as soon as it comes out, and Baruch Hashem, there were enough of those people there. But
now, because of this composer thing that Ellie had going on, you performed your own composition, which is funny because I'm not sure if you actually do that at a lot of shows.
Which
Kol Barama?
No, Kol Barama is a main. It's one of those that'll always be.
But is it part of your repertoire when you do concert? Really?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to remember the last time I saw you in concert. It must have been when Yochi did. No. When I saw you personal was in Brooklyn College a few years back.
Okay, we did Kol Barama as part of a medley.
Right.
As part of a medley then. Mm-hmm. If it's a full-length solo show, then Kol Barama has its own slot.
I didn't know that.
If it's a...
so last year you did the Miami show, let's say, right? I think it was with Baruch Levine and Avi.
Okay.
You remember that or not?
So we might have done Kol Barama as part of a Project Relax medley.
It's possible.
Possibly.
Okay.
Actually, maybe not. No, we might have done it as part of a finale or something like that. Mm-hmm. But again... when it's a solo show, such as this past Motzei Shabbos, right? We did a solo show in Florida.
That's right, yeah.
So there, Kol Barama with the full arrangement has its a prominent spot right in the middle of the show. There are certain songs that, as an artist, Kol Barama, we do it three times a week. Between weddings and concerts and events. For someone that's coming out to your show in South Florida that hasn't seen you in a year and a half, they want to hear what they
100%.
What they know. It's not about making the artist be creative,
I mean, listen, Chana here in Chicago wants to know if you're ever going to, re-record it properly on an album, because you've never done that. I mean, it might have been on a Project Relax album, but it hasn't been on a Simcha Leiner album with, the way Yochi would arrange it rather than the way you released it originally.
Right. So I'd like to say that Leiner Live in Odessa did it justice. Mm-hmm. We had it completely rearranged with a symphony orchestra. Correct. And you're not going to get much better than that. I'm telling you. So
you don't need a studio version. No, the live rearranged version.
Also, any live album, such as the Leiner Live album, is cleaned up in studio.
Right.
So we cut out the instruments that were not playing, 100% album quality and stuff like that. But you hear that's the original. So you're hearing it live. So.
Listener Gedalia from Australia actually sent me in a list of questions. Believe it or not. Says, question 1, what was the inspiration for the song Sheshomati?
So this is the G report.
The G report. I think it's the first time there's been a song from the Alter Rebbe's Igeres HaKodesh. That's what he wrote.
I don't think it's the first song from there. That's number 1. The inspiration... Well, I didn't write the song. I wish I did.
Right. Anshi.
It was written by Anshi. Anshi is the type of person that when he sees lyrics, he writes to the words. So you hear the way the Shesha Mati Meira boys say, right? The way you couldn't write a tune and then fit words like that into it.
No, it has to flow with it.
Yeah, and it's just that's one of those songs on the album that it's for people that really, it's one of my favorites. It's just an amazing.
It's the new Nigan HaChochma for the new album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you get to sit with Anshi, or was this?
Yes. We sat.
So what was that like? I mean, when I interviewed Avremel like a year and a half ago, he was talking about him. He was like, I wish I could just do an album with him. You have to see him. And then I finally saw a picture of him a few weeks ago, and somebody posted on Facebook. I was expecting this holy Hasidic guy who's like from really religious.
Well, he's definitely
he looked like I'm just saying, he looked like a regular guy to me.
No, he's a businessman.
I didn't know that.
He's a very successful businessman who is successful in other ways too. He's successful emotionally, and from a Yiddishkeit perspective, he's a very hoiche mensch, as they say. He sits and learns these not necessarily typical limudim that me and you would learn, and he obviously has a lot of regesh in him because he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs.
So how do you pick one? It has to resonate with you, or
yeah. We narrowed it down a little bit. We told him what we're not looking for,
right?
Because Yochi has a pretty good idea of what not to use,
right?
And then I have 5 or 6 on my phone that we
from him that you're still considering or mulling over.
Really, yeah.
Interesting. Simcha Leiner with us in studio talking about his latest album, Merakeid, in stores now, available through Nigun Music. It's available, I believe, for some reason it has not fallen off, I think, the top 20 iTunes World
number
Charts.
4.
In 4 weeks.
Since
not even
the day it came out, it's been
crazy.
Baruch Hashem, it's been on the. Thank you, guys.
Listener Gedalia wants to know how you secured a song from Yerachmiel Begun, but I guess I know that because I MC a show where Yochi and Yerachmiel Begun announced their venture about working together in Miami, and since then he had a song on Shulman's album, I guess now a song on yours, so there is that long working arrangement over there.
To sit with him one night, very, very late, actually after Shai Kleiman's wedding, and he had prepared a few, discos, like he wrote for Shulam Lemmer, but I told him, I want something different. I want something else. So he showed me, he just started writing a English song. And I just fell in love with the tune. I said, this tune is amazing. The words don't resonate with me. Let's do a little surgery.
That takes chutzpah because you're talking about a guy who's known.
Oh, don't worry, we did it after we left.
But I'm saying Yerachmiel's songs, especially his English songs throughout the years in Miami and Toronto and Costa Monica and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean the English songs that he wrote, I felt were more appropriate for a kids choir,
which is a possibility. Very, he's used to writing that. So.
Exactly. We Yochi and I took the song back to studio. We sat, we did a little surgery on it, and it turned out to be what you hear, which has already been requested by chuppahs all over the place.
Baruch Hashem. Another comment I got is this album has a different feel than the first two. This person believes Gedalia believes it's due to the Ivrit songs. Were you looking to create an alternative sound or not? And I got to tell you, I do agree with you. This album as a whole is it's a very different direction than your first two albums.
It's definitely a different direction. I wouldn't say because of Ivrit.
That's what he was saying. Right? I wasn't necessarily saying that.
Although if you take a step back, there are no horns on the entire album.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, which is a very, very unique. There's only on the slow songs,
keyboards,
like
guitars, bass, drums. Yeah, you're right.
See that?
A clarinet. Okay, it's a little bit.
Clarinet's not a horn; it's a reed.
It's not a horn. You're right.
Still, there's brass. You see brass right above there. So that is French horns on the slow songs.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That in itself is indicative of a more modern feel, a more modern sound. It definitely has all the telltale signs of a more current album. Also, once you have a couple albums out, you can experiment a little bit more. You can push the limits a little bit. At the same time, Yochi and I are extremely makbid and careful to keep it sounding 100% Jewish. It's something that we're proud of. We're not trying to steal styles and sounds from secular music. I don't think there's place for that in our in the Jewish music world. We are not competing. We have Messiah behind us. We have Neshama behind us, and we're proud to keep that in it.
You just did what was it? You were was it Yeshiva in Toronto? You just did a song for recently, not Toronto, Baltimore. Ner Yisrael. And they're looking for people like that, who have those kind of backgrounds and who can sing a song, about. It's funny you saying Messiah. I think the song had words like that in it.
Possibly, yeah. Ner Yisrael. But I mean, it was for their 50th dinner.
Right, I believe so, yeah. I think Shmuley Rosenberg wrote the song or something. Yes. Somebody sent to me a few weeks ago. So, Simcha Leiner with his Vice Studio. I mean, I would have a better answer than that. I would just say, as an artist, you mature. Your style adapts. And, Avram Fried, when he started writing his material 10 years ago, instead of hiring composers and going, his direction changed because he's growing as a persona. He's growing as his style.
Also, throughout the history of Klal Yisrael. I mean, from before the times of the Beis Mikdash, there's very clear, documented, sources and makaros for where the styles of music came from.
Right.
There is anyone that says that the music of the times of the Beis Mikdash didn't have influence from the geographical, location of the Beis Mikdash and things like that, it is ignorant. There are. I'm not saying that the words and the tunes, but stylistically,
correct.
There were things that, in the Beis Mikdash, the music changed with the time as well.
But the music also, from what I remember, especially for Levium, the music was able to evoke certain emotion. That's what it was used for.
Sure.
Happy was happy music, sad was sad music. Absolutely. But it's a big part of our life. Simcha Krantzer, composer, says, I like that Simcha and Yochi in general isn't afraid of slow songs. It's not an exercise CD.
Well, look, a proper album should have the right balance.
I think
we nailed the balance. Yochi has done this how many times before? 3 or 4 times before,
Right. Listener Dovi in Florida says, it's funny, Simcha's talking about, not going after Geisha styles or whatnot. Change the World is kind of a unique thing in itself. It's you wouldn't necessarily say it's Goyish, but it's definitely not your average Jewish song.
This is everything about what Yiddishkeit believes in.
I'm talking about the arrangement, not the words.
The arrangement is very, very simple, very straightforward. It's not this is the arrangement of the song, and this is something that I insisted on. It's very basic. It's very simple. It's something that the song doesn't get. There sometimes you'll hear songs that the arrangement takes over, and it's a very big problem, especially in a lot of the modern music today. That with a lot of the digital stuff, the music starts taking center stage, and that's not the objective of an album like ours. There are EDM or whatever you call those type of albums that are
electronic dance music, right?
The focus is the music, but over here the music is supposed to be bringing out our point, bringing out our songs, making our songs more palatable and stuff like that. So Change the World, if you listen to it, the music is always playing second fiddle to
Interesting. So I just learned something from Simcha Leiner. Speaking of
you sound surprised.
I am. Track 2, we're talking about Riboina, of course, a gorgeous song composed by Mordechai Brizel, who's been after you for a while, but you pick his songs very carefully. And then, of course, there's that music video which you released,
yes,
which people, I believe, were blown away by. I don't know if it was the gold piano or the SL on the piano or the actual placement of where the piano was, which gave it its depth, which is funny because a lot of people would have said, well, why didn't Simcha have a storyline? Why did he just go with placing the piano?
100%. And I get that. We try to, on every album, do 2 music videos at least. We might have 3 or 4 in the works.
So for the last album, let me get this wrong. For the last album, you did Simcha.
For the first album. So the first album we did Simcha Leiner.
Right.
And we did...
The last album you didn't do any videos. Sorry.
The last album.
You had planned to do videos.
The last album, Baruch Hashem, we were so busy, promoting it live, touring, just singing it. We had more than one video just not be completed because we were just...
And I remember this because we went out and we discussed, I believe, the opening track and the Niggin Chachma. We discussed ideas.
That's why with this album, we had the song, I think we filmed Ribono 2 days before the album hit the stores.
Really? So you mamish waited until it was mixed and mastered to start filming it?
No, the opposite. We waited. We didn't wait for the album to be released to start working on it. Many artists, myself included, originally...
You want to wait until you have the final song before you start shooting.
Exactly. And then...
But the reality is, if it's just going to be sounds that you're tweaking and not the actual tempo or the word placement, then you can shoot with the song as it is.
A lot of times the song is mixed, a few weeks before the album is released.
Right.
We're ready to shoot. Otherwise, once the album comes out, you're running around like a chicken without a head. You can't focus. You can't sit down and actually finish it. A lot of people don't know this, but I edit my videos myself.
I do. We don't tell everybody, but yeah.
The reason I do it myself is that we have 100% quality control on everything.
You're also saving on wait time, waiting to get it back from somebody. And
we've done videos in Israel where every time there's an edit, it's a 12-hour, turnaround time. There's a 7-hour time difference, and this way, the second the album was ready to hit was rolled out across all the stores, boom, there's a music video to support it. This video sort of follows the same style of Pischili, right, which was just to highlight the beauty of the song. No crazy storyline. Simcha Leiner had a very comprehensive story, and next week I'm off to Israel to shoot a music video that has a comprehensive storyline as well.
I was going to say that Yosef Chaim Golding listening in from his Haskim's office. Shout out to Yosef Chaim Golding. Listener Shmuel wants to know, he says he understands the forest, he understands the water theme, but why yeshiva? Why would someone be singing a piano in yeshiva?
Why exactly? How do you understand the forest and the beach more than the yeshiva?
Scenery is nice, I guess. I don't know.
Torah is beautiful too.
I'm not putting it this.
And if you read through the lyrics,
So you're saying that the song actually has a little... So where do you have there? So Derech Yeshara is the water and
teach me the way of the Torah.
Interesting. That
surrounded by people learning.
The yeshiva that you picked that you played the piano what was the deciding factor?
Well, we had a motivational, basically an idea where the Bachar. This was done. I was given 50 minutes 50, to get in, set up, shoot, and get out. Because
usually it's 50 minutes just to set up.
Just to decide where to put it, right?
And the lighting.
Yeah, because that's their lunch break, their bin storm. And
you got guys in their lunch break to come in and learn?
So then the yeshiva had an incentive that the Bachram could be in the video if they actually sit and learn.
Interesting.
And from what I know is that 15 minutes after I left, the guys were still in there learning, and they had to end up giving a lunch break or something a little bit later in the day.
They're going to start having Simcha Leiner come every day to shoot a music video. And of course, a little cameo for our very own Yossi Zweig over there in the yeshiva.
That's right.
Anyway, Simcha Leiner with us in the studio talking about...
Funny story.
Yes, Simcha.
The next location we shot at was on the Lakewood Lake by sunset, by Lakewood Courtyard.
That was like by Lakewood Courtyard? Yeah. I was trying to figure out where it was.
So the sun is going down very, very quickly. And because the day was over at Shkia was in 4.
I was trying... I'm going to interrupt you.
Sure.
Was it dry ice or was it a smoke machine?
Neither. It was some random thing from Amazon that...
I was trying to figure it out because it's coming up through the rocks. I was like, a smoke machine...
That's pretty cool.
A smoke machine can't be that, concise in between things. Like maybe they have dry ice around everywhere.
Yeah. So they basically we're setting it up.
Yeah.
And they're almost ready to go, and we decided, okay, we'll shoot in this direction. And then they're like, wait a minute, the piano's not standing.
So what was it on?
The piano, when the guys would let go of it, the movers.
It wasn't stable because the rocks weren't flat.
No, because we left a leg in the yeshiva.
So you're saying that if we look closely at the music video, we can see a small guy hiding underneath holding a leg.
Someone ran back, and that's why we got the shot. Basically, in one shot, we didn't have a...
Because it's funny, I'm wondering, you must have been shooting all day, and you wanted to get the sunset in because you were already there. You're saying that wasn't the case?
No.
Simcha Leiner with us in the studio talking about his latest hit album, Merakeid. Yes,
that it was 21 degrees that day. 17 degrees that day.
Are we Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
Okay, just checking.
And it was shot outside the entire day.
Now, over the last few years, we've been seeing a lot of Udi Damari coming out. So I was excited when I saw that you worked with him, and also, Amit Harel. These are not your average mainstream U.S. performers. I mean, how did you? Is this all Yochi's related, or is this all Simcha Leiner related?
Well, I mean, everything is a combination, but Udi Damari actually arranged 2 very well-known songs of mine. Well, one very well-known song, one Simcha Leiner was arranged by Udi Damari. He also arranged Shomer, a really amazing song. I didn't know that. Shomer Yisrael, yeah.
So you've actually worked with him in the past. I guess it wasn't one of those major, fast-moving, Damari arrangements.
But it's funny, though, that it when we started working with it, Yochi almost forgot about this, and then sort of remembered, hey,
who's that guy? Why don't we go back to him? Interesting. So, and you got, of course, Yankee Briskman arranging on this album too, yes. and you always brag, especially with your second album. You were like, what Yankee did with this album was amazing. So I see you still stuck with him for a few songs here.
We were able to. I basically told him, you can arrange all 10 songs if you give me the time. And
but he's that busy. He's that busy with his...
I basically had to corner him one day and lock him down.
So Sheshamati is definitely a song that resonated within me. It resonated on the 9 at 9 last week. L'chaim, I mean, you've performed with Lipa many times, but to actually get lyrics from him and a composition, that's...
Right, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
This is the song was a concept that I had in mind for a very, very long time. That you always wish everyone L'chaim Tov Mil Shalom. Harichas Yom B'Shanim Tovos is a separate thing. What good is all the brachas in life if you don't have time to enjoy it, right?
You're right. You need to be able to have that time.
So that's an idea that I was pitching to Lipa for a long time. And one morning I wake up, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, I had a voice note sitting on my phone with this incredible song. He wrote the entire thing, the low part, high part, the middle part. Just
and it's funny because you were saying about arrangements and about having the song take away from the words. There are those people I bump into. They're like, "What's with the song L'chaim? It's just really simple." And I was like,
exactly.
"But that's what works a lot of the times.
Right.
The simplest songs are the ones that you can remember and that keep bumping around in your head.
Can sing it easily." There's a last minute. Yochi added this clarinetist. I think Avram Balti is his name. One of the greatest clarinetists in the world. Right, is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Balti, yeah. And he layered the song with the clarinets, and then Yochi, as a producer, trims away till you find that right balance, and it really, really took the song to another level.
Interesting. I'm just looking here at the PDF booklet. I see Ribono, you and Brizel are the only other voices on this song?
Right.
I did not know that. I didn't even know Mordechai started doing choir in his own songs.
He came in one day for something, and I said, Mordechai, jump in the booth and layer a couple vocals over the background. I
got to tell you, his songs have always, struck me as a certain style, and he's definitely come up in the years. But, this song, it surprised me. It wasn't in his usual wheelhouse.
I heard this song, he sent it to me while I was with my wife driving in some crazy street in Florida before, I think it was almost a year prior. Mm-hmm. And I responded, okay, we have the first song for my next album. That's simple. Yep.
Listener Alex gives a shout out to us from, where is he? Listener Alex is in Passaic. Yehuda Bradley says, love Ten Siman. Was there any particular inspiration behind it?
So it was a process. Eli Schwab and I had a different concept in mind.
And I didn't know this, by the way. I spoke to Eli a few weeks ago. I thought he would probably just email you over demos. He said
no.
He said he demands both you and Yoichi sit with him.
I wouldn't put it that way.
Okay. He suggests both you and Yoichi sit with him.
No, I said, let's not waste time and we'll do this right. Instead of the back and forth at Balagan. So this was actually also after Shai Kleiman's wedding. It was a very long night, if you haven't noticed.
Shai, you got to do Simchas more often. It's the only way Leiner could finish an album.
Oh, one wedding.
I didn't say wedding. I said Simchas.
Okay, Mitzvah Shem after your bar mitzvah,
yes.
Kids' bar mitzvahs. It was unbelievable. We accomplished a lot that night.
Okay, listener Yehuda, thanks. Simcha, I'd like to wish you Hatzlacha. You know what? You just dropped me off some albums here. Pick a number from 1 to 20.
We'll go with 18.
Okay, Chai, 18. The 18th person to email me now will win a brand new copy of Simcha Leiner's Merakeid, produced by Yochi Briskman, distributed by Niggin Music in stores, available for digital download, simchaleiner.com, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, wherever Jewish music is found. If you do not have your copy, I implore you to get your copy today. Simcha, I'm going to play you out with your own composition, the English song.
No way.
Yeah, I like it.
Look at that. Okay.
Change the World. I had to move it around. I wasn't sure you're going to be here on time. Anything else you can tell us about Change the World before we let you go?
Change the World is a very simple message that I hope all of you take to heart. Even if you use it as a little bit of a motivation every single day to make a difference in someone else's life, it was all worth it.
Okay. And you dedicated this, I believe, to Rabbi Einhorn from Los Angeles, who is a major composer himself. He's released 2 albums, Jerusalem, Judaism Alive, they were called. And so I guess he inspired you to write an English song yourself.
That's right.
Okay, that's Simcha. Right. Well, Tzlacha Rabbah. Great luck with the album. Looking forward to seeing the next music video. Simcha Leiner did mention he's going to be in Eretz Yisrael next week, where he'll be shooting a music video. If they want to be involved in the music video, how did they get in touch with you?
They can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram.
Facebook or Instagram.
I really appreciate all the people that did reach out, because we actually staffed all the extras in the video from fans of ours.
So the only places they have left is for people to bring lunch and serve drinks. That's all they got left.
Bring it on. Okay,
Simcha Leiner. And here we go. Off his latest album, Merakeid. Change the World. You, my friends, are tuned into the Z Report Live, Jewish Entertainment Network.
They tell you that you're too small to make a difference. They tell you that you're too weak to go the distance. But take the first step and you'll see that you can go far. They tell you that you're too lost to be inspired. They tell you that you're too short to reach up higher. But they're not feeling the passion that lives in your heart. Trust in yourself and show them who you really